Hi, my name is Mohamed Inshaff. I'm a Principal Solutions Architect at Human Security. Today we're going to talk about why scope is key for PCI DSS compliance. And we are joined by Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Mo. So I'm Bil Bragg. I'm CTO at Dionach. So I'm head of GRC services and I'm a PCI QSA. And Dionach is part of the Nomios group.
First thing first, what do you mean by scope for PCI DSS?
Well, scope for PCI DSS is anything that needs to be assessed under the PCI DSS requirements. So what needs to be assessed? Well, this could be system components, people, processes, anything that could store, process, or transmit cardholder data. So cardholder data could be the primary account number or the credit card number, account name, expiry date, and that would also include sensitive authentication data, which could include the 3-digit security code. So yes, anything that is the network or system components, people, processes, as part of the cardholder data environment is in scope.
Great. Why is the PCI DSS scope is important?
Well, it's important for several reasons. The first is that most organizations' core business is not PCI DSS compliance.
Right.
You know, we're talking over 250 requirements here.
Yeah.
If you can reduce scope, this means that it reduces the compliance burden, can reduce the risk of a breach, and also just the ongoing resource required to maintain PCI DSS compliance can be significant. So if we can reduce that as well, it can help in the long run. So what organization can do is try and get a review of the scope to see if they can reduce it.
And how can an organization reduce the PCI DSS scope?
So Dionach has a scope review service. We will go in and look at how payment channels work, how payments are processed, stored, or transmitted. We will talk to different teams in the organization, like finance, IT, e-commerce, software developers, the call center staff, and retail. And what we'll do is we will map out the cardholder data flows, produce diagrams, and we will also map out any high-level cardholder data environments that may be in place. So this could cover VoIP, paper, cloud services, quite a lot of different areas.
So Bill, what are some of the options for reducing the PCI DSS scope?
Well, Mo, there's quite a lot of options, but I'll just pick out 3 examples.
Yeah.
The first is target the self-assessment questionnaire. So where PCI DSS has over 250 requirements, and that's the sort of default SAQ-D, you can try and target like SAQ-A, for example, where you outsource all processing of cardholder data to a service provider, and that has 29 requirements. So you can do this, for example, if you've got an e-commerce website that processes card payments through your web server out to an API gateway, to a payment gateway with API integration, then if you change to a redirect or iframe and meet the criteria of SAQA, then that will reduce the requirements and so reduce scope.
Yeah.
The second option is isolation. If you can isolate your CDE and just have an isolated network, that will remove any other system components in the rest of the network.
Right.
So a good way of doing that is to host your CDE in a cloud service provider, in a virtual private cloud, for example, that making sure it's isolated. So the third way is to use a cloud service provider that has their own PCI DSS compliance.
Right.
If you do that, you can look at the attestation of compliance, the AOC, and look at the services that fall within the AOC. So typically, with the larger cloud service providers, this would be physical security, the underlying network infrastructure, and also other services like web application firewalls. So if you look at their responsibilities matrix, you can clearly see which areas they're responsible for, but which areas you're still responsible for. Clearly, there's still some responsibilities you have, but there'll be a lot less than if you have your own infrastructure and data center and everything that you need to apply all these requirements to. So I think those are three good examples of reducing options. There are other options. It's really depends on the business process and culture and on what those options are.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Bill. And how has the scope review helped organizations?
So Mo, we've done quite a lot of scope reviews at Dionach, and they're always interesting to do. So we do the analysis, we produce the report. The report will explain the current business processes and how payments work for each payment channel. We'll give options for scope reduction for each of those payment processes. And it will also identify any potentially high-risk areas. So unexpected cardholder data storage, for example.
Right.
Or it could be how the entity thought that the e-commerce websites were had a redirect or iframe, but in fact there is cardholder data flowing through the web service, so that could potentially be high risk. So it's all about us working with the organizations, try and find the best option. And the report will also have a step-by-step approach on how to work towards reducing scope and ultimately compliance.
That's great, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mo. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
And for more information, please scan the QR code.